Good evening. Welcome to Epiphany Lutheran Church in Richmond, Virginia. I'm Kevin Barger. We're glad that you've joined us this evening for Music Minute, looking at the hymns we'll be using in worship tomorrow, the 6th Sunday after Epiphany. We're drawing to a close here with our time after Epiphany. We're going to start with the hymn of the day. This is a newer hymn, God When Human Bonds Are Broken. And the tune was, actually not the tune, the words were written in 1988. And it's much more recent than our gathering hymn, which you'll hear about in a little bit. It originally came under the title, this is a long title, A Hymn for People Seeking Release from Broken Relationships and Forgiveness for Having Failed Others. So rather than call it that, it got the name God When Human Bonds Are Broken, much better. The original intention was to help individuals or couples who were experiencing divorce, and its author was not from a very church family, interestingly enough, and he found interest in theology from his high school religious teachers. And so this is God When Human Bonds Are Broken. So the melody was sort of broken out across the top, and it was much slower than we'll actually sing. They're quarter notes in the hymn. These were half notes or longer, and it gave us time to kind of explore the progressions between chords and kind of gave you that broken feeling. So it's a great arrangement for that. Next, we'll move to the hymn of the day, the gathering hymn. And as I mentioned, that's a lot earlier. It was probably written in the 7th or 8th century, and it's a Latin hymn. It covers creation, redemption, atonement, victory over death, and a doxology, all in one hymn. The tune actually was not added until the 1500s, so quite a few centuries went by before this tune became associated with these words. So I'm going to switch over to the piano. O Christ, our hope. Got a few variations of it there, so you got to hear it multiple times. Next, we'll move to communion. Communion is day by day, and this was actually originally designed as an illustration to a storybook that had been written by the author. And the author states, quote, "We are only given a day at a time, and for each new day, new grace, new strength, and new hope." The tune was composed specifically for these words that go with it. And after the tune was written, actually, though, the author went back and lengthened the text of each line by one syllable. And that was so that it would have a softer and more natural rhythm that we now sing today. Day by day. Very calming. So that extra syllable makes all the difference. And last but not least, we have Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. And this was, of course, a hymn that exudes joy and delight. And in some ways, it's very opposite what we sang last week in Thy Strong Word, where Thy Strong Word was very focused on the dark and powerful nature of God's Word. Here, this week, we're on the joy and delight in God's Word. Henry Van Dyke wrote this hymn, and it was actually inspired by the beauty of nature. And its origins are a little bit disputed. It appears to have been a hymn written for Williams College, and we'll leave it at that. There were some other things that went along with that, but it looks like it was written for Williams College. And of course, it goes to the tune of Beethoven's Ode to Joy from the Ninth Symphony. And what makes that a little bit special and unique is of course, Ninth Symphony this is the fourth movement, and it's where the chorus comes in, and it uses frequent use of the word joy, in German, Freude. Joyful, joyful, we adore thee. This is a little jazzier version. We'll do the more grand version tomorrow. So thank you for joining us this evening. Hopefully you learned something that you didn't know before, and maybe you enjoyed some of those arrangements, and you'll be all set for worship tomorrow. If you're joining us in person, we will be at 8:30 and 11, and of course the 11 o'clock service will be live streamed. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.